Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Factors.ai LinkedIn Sales Navigator Partner Web Series. This is a very important set of series for sales leaders, specifically on how they can do GTM in the age of AI very well, and also make sure that they have the human trust connections also in place while AI takes over a lot of automation. With us, we have Abhay Singh, who's the head of sales for LinkedIn Sales Navigator in India. He's a very experienced leader from LinkedIn. You can see like he's been in Delhi for almost 30 years, Oracle veteran, and then in LinkedIn for almost more than the last 5 years. We are here with him to understand what happens inside LinkedIn Sales Navigator, how sales leaders use LinkedIn Sales Navigator, what are the questions sales leaders are asking before they take up any tools, and a lot of interesting insights into how to do GTM in the age of AI. Welcome, Abhay. Great to have you here. I'll just start with a very simple question, which always LinkedIn puts to other speakers when they are in LinkedIn webinars. Tell me something which is not there in your LinkedIn profile about you. This shouldn't be there in your LinkedIn profile. I have searched through your LinkedIn profile for quite something. So if you say something, if it's already there, I might actually point out that also.
Perfect. Firstly, thank you, Sri, for having me over. Lovely to have this series of webinars that I'm planning to do with you. Really excited to come and share with the audience on everything that you talked about. And this is a flip question that you asked me, so I wasn't completely prepared for this, but I'll give two answers. One that is not on my LinkedIn profile on the personal side, and I think the other one on the professional side. So I've been blessed to have three dogs surrounded by me in the house. So it's a house that has two teenage daughters and three dogs. So it's always something that keeps me active. Takes a lot of time over the weekends, as you could imagine. That's one thing on the personal side. On the professional side, I think that is something that is missing on a lot of LinkedIn profiles, is what I would say. You get to see somebody's career trajectory. You don't get to see the context behind it. You don't get to see how did you get there, who helped you along the way, your managers, your mentors, your support ecosystem, the deals that did not go through, the deals that went through. So there's a whole bunch of context that is missing. And I think it's going to be wonderful to share that in person when I meet you next time.
Oh, that's great. That's amazing. And it's great to know you're a dog person. I have grown up with dogs. I had, I think, a Doberman at early stage, and then later kind of more of a Indian indie dog, which was also there with me for a pretty long time. After marriage, I hadn't been allowed to keep dogs yet, but after kids, maybe after some time, I think I would eventually get to the dog phase. That's great to know, Abhay, that you're a dog person. So now we dive into the key topic which we are having. Can you talk about LinkedIn as a network has grown immensely? I mean, it started over like 20 years back, but in the last 5 years, specifically after COVID, we have seen insane growth on LinkedIn. Can you talk about LinkedIn network specifically in India? Why it matters in India? Why it matters for GTM leaders, sales leaders, for them to really look at LinkedIn as a network?
Yeah, no, thanks for asking this. I was with a bunch of customers earlier this week, and I was traveling to Hyderabad and Chennai. And one thing that comes across common in every conversation that I have with my customers is one, that they love the platform. And the reason why they love the platform is that they can trust everything that is happening on the platform. The slide that you see that's popping up here talks about the fact that we are roughly about 1.2 billion members globally. Roughly about 70 million plus companies actively participate on the platform and try and put out their products and services that you would want to consume. This network in isolation makes no sense, but when you join the dots together of the engagements and the activities that are happening, this platform kind of updates about 5 million times every minute, which is the intent signal that you take out. And specifically for India, I joined LinkedIn about 6 years ago. The membership base was about 65 million members. Today, it is upwards of about 170 million members. And the reason why somebody should be there is the only question that I ask all my customers. It's sales one-on-one. If your customers are there on the platform, you should be there. And last week and this week, the customers that I have met, it was unanimously told to me that 99% of their customers that they engage with are on the platform. I still have to figure where did they get miss the 1%, but as per me, a large majority of our customers are on the platform. If they are and they are engaging on the platform, this is the place to be. And that makes this platform so much relevant, whether you're thinking about hiring somebody, whether you're thinking about marketing, whether you're thinking about sales. It is one platform that serves the global workforce, and that makes it unique and so much powerful.
That's great. I mean, LinkedIn is one of the most powerful platforms for both sales leaders and generally B2B companies for them to engage with their customers, identify their customers makes a lot of sense. But one thing, it also keeps coming back to us with a lot of sales teams or even sales leaders talking about us. Sales teams are very busy, but they don't seem to be so effective. So, how do you actually solve that problem, or what are your thoughts on it?
This is a very common thing that we hear. I'll give you an example. I was speaking to a CRO of a large IT company, and this was a couple of, I think, quarters ago. And he told me specifically one challenge that he's facing in his SMB segment. His challenge was that his pipeline is building, and pipeline is building like crazy. Never before has he seen the pipeline increase, but the conversion was dropping. Uh, and I asked him the follow-up question that what is actually happening, and he said, "My entire team has been built for velocity. I want my team members to go in, get the deal, come out, get to the next one." Now has comes into a situation where the team members are trying to add value because they've been asked to do value. So even for a 5K or a 10K ticket that they're selling, they're preparing decks which are proving the value of what they're selling, which is not how they were resourced, that is not how they were skilled. Now, that takes you, that's just one example, but I think it is something that plays out in every situation, whether you're talking about an SMB customer or you're talking about an enterprise customer. Every deal demands a very different level of excellence. And the reason I say this is because if you go back and look at what's playing out at our customers' end,
Mhm.
people are not looking at tighter budgets, but they're thinking about prioritizing where to spend. So money is going to be flowing, but you have to be the one that's in the priority. The dynamic of how you bought earlier is changing. There are more CFOs in the room who are asking for the ROI than ever before. So there are going to be larger buying committees. Not one person is going to be taking a decision like it happened earlier, right? So all of these things are so important uh, to make sure that you go ahead and engage with as many people that you have to talk to. Now, think about an organization which has multiple products that you have to sell. Now, individual as a company, you would want to have a balanced growth across all the product lines, which means that you'll have to speak to different personas. Now, as a feet in the street, a rep typically would be doing what they do the best, which is I know this product the best. I'll go and talk to the person that I know the most, and I'll go and sell. So we have data to believe that people who can actually go ahead and multi-thread a lot more, and this is the Gartner number that you're seeing on the screen, talks about up to 11 to 12 people that you need to speak to an account to get the right level of decision making happening in your favor. They tend to get this data and their deals up to, they beat their competitors by 50%. And that's a huge, huge stat. And the flip side of this is based again on a study that we know is that an ideal person or an ideal rep would be speaking to a lot lesser number of people. And that I think is the biggest opportunity that presents itself.
No, this is very interesting because this is also something which we have kind of personally seen in many places. And you mentioned a very important point like CFOs are getting involved in a lot more deals. You might be thinking that you are selling to a technology person or you're selling to a marketing team member or you're selling to a particular, let's say, a procurement software or different kind of software, but the CFOs are also coming in. So how do you multi-thread across the org over different teams and then you actually push the deal through is how you can convert the pipeline into some level of action or a customer. That's something which is a very interesting insight. And one more thing that you also mentioned is like sellers are built for velocity, which is maybe pre-2020 or as organization grow early stage, they're more selling SMB. It's more like a consumer goods or fast moving consumer goods sale. Now, when it actually becomes an enterprise sale, you need to do things a little more differently. And you have some sellers doing things differently and they achieve quotas. A lot of other sellers are not doing it, and as a whole, the team suffers. So you brought in right points. Anything more from your since you see so many sales team, hundreds of sales team across the board, what are the best sellers do things? How do they do things differently? Can you talk about some of their kind of
Absolutely. And this is something that is something that we live and breathe on a daily basis. It's not just the conversation that we have with our customers who are sellers who use Sales Navigator, but also the vision behind how we build our product to make it more efficient for them to use, right? So uh, we went back and did a little bit of research on the sales professionals to figure out what is it that the best sellers are doing, and therefore what is it that you could incorporate in your entire organization to make sure that everybody is a top performer. So if you just think about what is a good bell curve in any organization, that will look like, it's going to be like your 15 to 20% of your performers are the ones that are really, really good. And if we went ahead and looked at what do they do differently, and the things that they do differently is a lot of research. They will do a lot of research about the accounts that they want to go after. Why should they go after those accounts? How do they find the people that they need to engage with? Remember the 11, 12, 15, 20 people that you have to speak to, whether it is marketing, it is legal, it is procurement, it is the business functions that you have to go after. And then how do you make sure that they trust you? I think it's trust is becoming such an important part that somebody has to be an advocate for you to get your decision, because customers in today's era has already enough information about what solutions they wanted to buy. They are looking at you to validate. They're looking at you to make sure that their decision is now being validated by people that they trust. And if you're the one who they trust, the chances are that you're going to get the deal, right? And that research, that conversation, and that level of advocacy, once you build, it has a humongous potential. It has a humongous potential when you think about every individual in your sales team behaves like a top performer. Your revenue could go up as high as about 70%. And that could change the entire dynamic of how you're thinking about growth, how you're thinking about making sure that your customers feel that this is the right company and partner to work with for a long term. Because when we think about customers, our customers don't just do think about a transaction; they think about partnership in the long run. So the more efficient our sellers become, the better it is for the brand that we carry on the market.
I think, in a sense, you put it very clearly where, like, how you can make your every seller your best seller, and they can continuously improve with both AI being the accelerant and also the processes being in place for them to actually do the research, do the right customer advocacy, and find the right people as well.
I agree. And this is the bell curve that I was talking about a while back. And the bell curve was pretty much heavy on the middle portion, which is where approximately you will find 60%, 70% of your population sitting. And that is the huge opportunity that presents itself for every sales leader who's listening to this podcast.
That's great. And
Right?
we also spoke about AI being a partner here, AI being an accelerant. And now we are very clearly in the age of AI. So that's something like we have gone into the point of no return from AI. So AI is going to be deeply embedded in our lives. How is AI can be a partner and an accelerant here?
AI is like being talked about by nearly everyone. India just hosted its biggest AI summit earlier, a few weeks ago, and I think every person that you speak to, every company that you speak to, when you think about what products are they bringing to the market, and is there a flavor of AI, everyone will tell you that there is a flavor of AI. LinkedIn is not new to this world. AI has been the center of how our product has evolved, how LinkedIn.com has started serving our customers and members for the longest period of time. It's been in our ecosystem for the last 10 years. And I talked about trust being the biggest differentiator. I think that stands out. When you think about why should you trust a platform, why should AI matter, it's just not about the data that is thrown at you. It is whether you trust that data enough at scale for it to be relevant for you. And with 1.2 billion members and about 175 million members that I talked about in India, that is a big, big differentiator that we have within LinkedIn. Uh, it is the only platform that is also like a complete digital representation of the global workforce. So nearly self-authored. Everything is penned down by the individual themselves. So they're building their brand. Members are trusting to be there and having those conversations. So I think that is the biggest reason why partnering with LinkedIn and incorporating some of the AI functionalities that I'll talk about in the future is going to make us the company to partner with.
That's great. I think what you captured is very clear. It's like one with LinkedIn and Microsoft. Microsoft is the largest investors in OpenAI as well. So you have a very strong AI angle and one of the first early kind of sunriser companies on the AI and technology side, coupled with the largest trustable data set of professional network, which LinkedIn brings in. And both of that have a very strong combination which you can actually bring into the market. And that's something which is amazing. And we'll also see what are the specific features which you have in through the course of this webinar, which is there. Shifting gears, there is one thing which we also wanted to talk about is the precision GTM framework, which is some inputs from factors.ai side on what we see are like how the best teams are actually running their GTM in the most effective manner. And here we have made it into a 4-level framework, which is that one part is like LinkedIn gives a very, very strong trusted database and one of the largest databases of professional networks. That's one thing which LinkedIn brings into the table. But from a sales perspective, the first thing actually starts from identification. Find the 5% accounts that are actually in the market now. The reason why we speak about it as a 5% is like you might think like all companies or a particular, let's say if you take a B2B technology SaaS company or a IT services provider, they might think like all the Fortune 2000 companies or like these set of 5,000 companies in this market are all my customers. But in essence, only maybe 5% of them are actively in the market trying to actually wanting to buy the solution. Ability to find which of that overall set of 2000 or 5000 companies are in that 5% is something which is very important, and that's something which is a most important thing which sales leaders have to start with. That's the first part. The second part actually comes in as a little more interesting. Is like how do you enrich them? You spoke about the Gartner study and how it is important to actually engage with more than at least 11 people in an account. Most people are connected to just with one decision maker or one buyer person or one connect within that account. How do you map the 11 decision makers is important. So once you identify the account, mapping all the key buyer personas, the 11 or 11 plus people they want to identify, that is something, it's the second part which comes into the enrichment. This is like identifying their LinkedIn profile, working with other tools to identify their phone numbers, email IDs, etc., so that you also identify and enrich very clearly. But more importantly, with LinkedIn, you can also have a self-updated buyer, the career journey of that each and every individual, right from knowing like what roles they have been in, how much time they have spent on those roles, how long they have been in that organization, what is their experience, what is their background, so that you get context about a person before talking to him. That's something which LinkedIn actually provides out of the box. The third part is like then you start activating. This activation is one part where we have seen the best sales team do is like one, they surely have a very clear multi-touch, multi-threaded sales outreach, but they also coordinate with their marketing teams to make sure marketing provides air cover to the accounts which they are also going and reaching out. In a sense, it's like at one level, you have the sales team reaching out to certain key decision makers within an account. They are also very clearly confident that the marketing team also is showing ads to the same decision makers across channels like LinkedIn, so that it works like a kind of a surround sound effect where the account, when you actually, the salesperson actually reaches out to them, to a buyer persona, he's already knowledgeable about the brand and the solution which your brand sells. So it actually becomes not a cold call, but actually a warm introduction in a sense. The last part, which a lot of very strong GTM teams do, and this is something which we recommend as part of a precision framework, is like measurement. Any sales activity or a marketing activity or in general a go-to-market activity is an experiment. You think that you have identified these 5 people in this set of companies with this kind of a message and you reach out to them. It's an experiment. You have to measure whether the experiment is failing or is it doing very well. Which segments of those experiments are doing. If it is failing, why it failed. This measurement in terms of ROI to know like, okay, I did an activity, how does it connect to pipeline and revenue? That is the most important thing for you to know, like whether your activities are actually useful. For example, you mentioned about like I'm creating a lot of pipeline, but it's not converting. Why it's not converting? Is it because you're not multi-threading? Is it because you don't have the right message? Is it because you don't have the right context? Or is it because you're not going after the right account itself in the first place? All this part comes together with the measurement, and then you continuously work around this. This is what we look at it from a precision framework. What I also wanted to understand is like, how do you look at it from your LinkedIn frameworks? Like, how does Sales Navigator fit into this framework from your point of view?
No. So everything that you said, this entire framework of 4 steps, is what happens in a real life situation. When you're pursuing an opportunity, when you have your book of business and you're going after an opportunity in the territory that you have, these are the exact sequence of events that will happen for anybody to engage with their customers. And the reason why this is resonating so well, and my eyes lit up when I heard this framework, was because Sales Navigator is actually built pretty much on these lines. If you think about, you talked about how do you identify whether the account is the right account or not. We have a product feature called the buyer intent, which actually does that. You talked about multi-threading and mapping 11 plus decision makers in the Enrich part of your framework. Our Sales Navigator has a feature called relationship map. Nearly every salesperson will tell you that the start of the year or any review, they do create a big org chart of the companies where they're pursuing the largest opportunities, and they map everyone. Now, within Sales Navigator, you have an ability to do that on the platform. So that is another step that happens. You could also use Sales Navigator. You talked about getting every profile that you have to now go after. Where has this person worked? Were they a past customer of yours? All those intent signals are there for you to do your outreach and find your warm paths in. And we have so many agentic features that we have built into our product, like which help you know your account better, which helps you know the individual better. There's a feature called Lead IQ. I could go on Sales Navigator and press one button, and this feature will tell me my talking points, the top 4 things that is there on the web and on LinkedIn, and gives me my first 4 talking points with a customer. It marries that with everything that the company is doing. So it gives you context, and I think the context is what is so important in any conversation. So it pretty much fits everything that we have on the platform within this framework.
Got it. That's great to see how Sales Navigator comes in into each of these actions, where right from identification, enrich, and activation of your audience, and measuring and strategize. To shift gears again, here we talk about the AI part and what Factors.ai actually brings in. And this is about the Factors.ai deep dive, and more importantly, it's for also the audience to know like how they can think through like where does Factors.ai come in, and what are the key actions which Factors.ai performs. As the founder and CEO of Factors.ai, we have been building this company for the last 5.5 years. It's a 3-member founding team. We started from InMobi, Freshworks, and Google. That's where the previous organizations we worked with before starting up with Factors.ai. At a primary level, Factors.ai is a demand generation and attribution platform. We work with over 1,000 plus GTM teams. You can see the logos there, right from very large technology services companies, SaaS companies, to all the way up to Series A, Series B SaaS companies are all our clients. We are one of the LinkedIn marketing partners, one of the 4 or 5 global LinkedIn marketing partners which solve for attribution, conversions API, and company intelligence. So we have been working with LinkedIn for almost 2.5 years now, and very closely. And we'll also touch upon like what are the things which we do with LinkedIn. Primarily, if you want to look at what Factors.ai does, Factors.ai at a base level unifies all your GTM data and intent signals. The GTM data is one, the first party data, which is in your CRM, which companies you have engaged with, which companies are your customers, which companies are your leads, which companies are your closed cluster accounts, what all activities you have done within those companies, including your marketing automation data, like who are the ones who received your emails, who are the ones who have opened your emails. Then we also marry that with third-party signals, like which companies are coming to your website. We do account identification on the website. We also have like which companies are engaging with your LinkedIn ads, LinkedIn emails, LinkedIn organic content pages. We also even bring in data from G2 and Gartner, like which companies are engaging with your category and your competitors. Now we bring in all this data together into a single platform to give you a complete account and a prospect view. What all are their activities as a time series? And more importantly, with this data and their engagement across your website, third-party intent, and your CRM, we can also detect very clearly who's the one who's showing intent and what is the context of that intent is something which we bring in. Now, once we have all this data and you have all this data in a very clear time series view on like who's showing what kind of interest and what is their interest, then you can start segmenting them. In terms of like you can build segments very clearly, like these are the high intent accounts. So they are more likely to buy immediately in the next 2 months. These are the accounts which are in the middle of the funnel. They've just started exploring a solution like yours. They are aware of the problem. They are also aware of your brand, but they just started exploring. These are the accounts which are in the top of the funnel, where they are just problem aware, or they might have been slightly brand aware, but they haven't actually started investigating into your product or your solution. So that's there in the same. And then there is a fourth set, which is like companies which are totally under the rock, which are in your ideal customer profile. They might be engaging or using your competitor products, but they are still some kind of like totally away, which are the ones which you need to first create some level of awareness, both problem and brand awareness, before you can actually bring them in. We identify and segment all these accounts. Then comes the activation part. Here we bring in all these accounts, all of them together in the right way, and then you can activate them across multiple channels. In a sense, where like you see a list of accounts which are directly in the immediate buying stage, you can immediately build an audience for them and show them marketing ads, which is LinkedIn ads very clearly for the key buyer personas within those accounts. Companies which are totally on the top of the funnel, where they are just problem aware, or they are looking at third-party intent tools, or they are in your competitors, or they're using your competitors, you can start a very clear brand awareness campaign across LinkedIn and third-party ad channels as well to get together. And lastly, this comes the measurement and attribution. This is something which is core with Factors.ai, because without the feedback loop, your marketing campaigns and your GTM campaigns go to waste. Factors provides you that feedback loop. It clearly is able to tell which companies, which marketing activities are actually working, which marketing campaigns are not working. So that in a sense, you are able to optimize your ads, and you're also able to optimize your marketing campaigns in the right sense to the right segments, so you can convert better. This is the last thing which we do effectively, where like measure your ROI and strategize with data so that you can make every dollar count. And more importantly, it's not just dollar ROI. Second thing is also gives confidence and trust to sales and marketing teams. Across the board, we have seen sales teams always asking marketing teams like, you are spending a couple of $1 million on marketing campaigns. How does it actually help us? I'm running sales, I'm converting customers, but what is your marketing expenditure coming to? And you also have marketing teams working with sales teams saying that I am activating all these accounts, I'm doing all these events for you, and I'm doing all these brand campaigns for you. Are you actually able to use this data effectively to have a build a better conversation, use this context to actually get into the right accounts, prioritize the right accounts rather than just doing the same messaging to everyone? This sales and marketing tussle is what we solve for with the complete measurement of ROI and the ability to strategize with data. That, in essence, is what we deliver with Factors.ai. And the next part of our session and what we are going to discuss is like what are the key features around LinkedIn Sales Navigator? What are the key new features and AI features which LinkedIn Sales Navigator brings in, so that then we will be able to then present like how Factors.ai and LinkedIn Sales Navigator comes together. Over to you, Abhay.
Sure. The things that you said resonated. One thing that you said is sales and marketing alignment or misalignment. I think that's such a interesting topic. We should actually do a webinar just on that, and I'm sure that's going to be a huge hit. But just going back to the last thing that you said, which is measuring ROI, that is going to be such a critical thing for CFOs. And I bring this point back again because that is the single most important thing when somebody has to write a check. Everybody goes back and prepares a business plan, and that business plan has to show how did the investment that they've done result into the revenue that they've got, or how the investment that you're not thinking of doing will ultimately get you that revenue. That if I'm sure CFOs love Factors.ai just because of this reason, but good to have this as part of the strategy, and that's one missing link. I'll dive deeper into Sales Navigator because I think when you think about Sales Navigator, the first thing that you think about is how do you build on the platform that has about 175 million members in India, 1.2 billion, 1.3 billion members globally? It's a vast ocean of people and resources and companies that are sitting on the platform. And therefore, when you start your day, how do you find the right accounts? How do you find the right people with those accounts? How do you engage with them? And once you engage with them, every conversation that you should have with them should be the right conversation. And Sales Assistant is our very latest offering that we are about to launch in the market. It's still in the beta test with a few large customers around the world. So wait for the final GA date for us. But this solves a very key problem that a lot of salespeople have. When you walk into the office on a Monday morning, what should you do? Now, imagine you being able to talk to a platform and say that this is the market that you're going after, this is the personas within this market that you're interested in, and this is the industry that you care about. Now, if you give these three intelligent features or intent into the platform, Sales Assistant is going to be working around the clock 24 by 7, and it's going to populate the leads that match that criteria and will surface them on a regular basis. So the heavy lift of you wanting to find out something is taken care by AI, and automatically from the 175 million members in India, you can now start to get which are the ones that matter the most. Right. So this
Wow.
is going to be a game changer in my mind. My teams are using it, and whether you're a hunter or a farmer, it opens up so many blind spots. I would strongly encourage nearly everyone to wait for this to hit the market. This is going to be a real money making machine for all the sellers. So I'm really excited about this one.
Oh, this looks like a very cool feature because it's like one, it's kind of finding a needle in the haystack, right? You have a lot of profiles, you have a lot of people to go after. People get confused, people get overwhelmed. This really helps them to narrow down on who they want to go after, with the AI part coming in on top of LinkedIn to kind of like where you said like a 24/7 sales assistant for the SDR or the account executive to make sure that okay, he goes after the right people and also with the right context. And one more thing which you also mentioned actually makes a lot of sense for this feature is like sales teams are generally very busy, but they don't get to be effective because a lot of time they're spending in doing non-sales activities. This helps them focus on selling, which is the human part, while the assistant part takes care of all the grunt work in terms of identifying the right leads and pushing it in.
And one very important thing that I want to highlight here, once the leads are surfaced up, they're surfaced to you because of a reason. They're surfaced to you in a large enterprise, you could have 50, 60 people that you need to go after, but all 50 might not respond to you. So it picks up certain intent signals, whether this person is active on the platform, have they changed jobs recently, have they posted something on LinkedIn which makes them available on the platform to respond back to you? Are they a past customer? Do you have somebody who you know very well who's also connected with them? So you could get a warm path in. So there are certain triggers which are running in the background, which therefore make you believe that the leads that are coming to you on a daily basis, the people that the sales assistant is throwing up to you to engage, are going to be the ones that will respond back to you. So it makes you more productive in your daily job.
It's great. And then comes find the most relevant accounts. Sales assistant recommendations are coming in actually very quick.
Yes, there's something that you need to think about as LinkedIn. I'll again reiterate. The first thing that we do is find the right company and then find the most relevant people in the company. Now, say as I said, there are certain signals that come across uh, and triggers which will be most important for you to reach out to that individual. These could be people who have a very solid commonality between you and somebody else. Now, one of the features that works absolutely brilliantly within Sales Navigator is a feature called Team Link Extend. I have organizations that I speak to who say that they've given Sales Navigator license and given this specific feature to everyone in the company because the power of the network that you have is what brings comes to life. So I think finding the right person who has the propensity to talk to you is going to be the absolute important thing to do. And therefore, once you do that, the engagement bit is
Got it.
going to be. second pillar, which is absolutely important to for any salesperson. You found the right person, but then you need to reach out to them. Now, as a platform, what we're also doing is we've heard from our customers to a last time that there's so many other ways of engaging, not just LinkedIn. And one thing that we are trying to do is think about engagement and integrating our product with other cadencing tools. So we are actively working at this point in time to have certain tools that we'll integrate more to make this product more efficient in the workflow of our customers. So I think engaging, we have a feature called Message Assist, which now once you've found the person, you can automatically know what to write to this person. The AI can draft based on the commonalities that I talked about, a very nice looking draft, which then you can also edit and send out your document, right? Or your message. Now, after you've engaged with the person, I think the next one is elevate. This is the most critical bit. I think this gives you the right for the next meeting. You've got your first meeting based on somebody's recommendation, but then you need to find the right to ask for another meeting based on how you have conversed in that meeting. And I think this takes me back to the amount of research that salespeople have to do for every meeting that they come for. Sales Navigator, because it is sitting on the platform, which is LinkedIn, where a lot of activities are happening, allows you to get all that goodness together and present it in front of a salesperson so that your conversations that you're doing is more meaningful. You have not just the interest of the person individually, but also what he cares about professionally. All that given to you, which helps you elevate your conversation. And I think the beauty about this is once you do all this, the other thing a lot of companies struggle is how do you then integrate with the CRM that I have. So it is this integration with the CRM is the secret sauce that we have. So we integrate with Dynamics, Salesforce, HubSpot, and a few others are in the pipe. I think this integration is going to be something that will make every seller's life a lot easier, every marketer's life a lot easier, because the right data is sitting in the CRM. You don't have the problem of bad data that you're working with. Now think about this. The impact that something like this would have is probably something which will come on the next slide. If we just go there, and this is how the numbers stack up. You talked about revenue attribution. You talked about bringing in ROI. Uh, we have looked at data for thousands of customers who use Sales Navigator and have integrated it with the CRM that they use. And it is a known fact of people who use Sales Navigator that they're able to connect to more people, which results in them being able to have more pipeline. They have more relationships than people who are not using the platform as effectively. So it's a very, very positive and tool to build your relationship. And therefore, once you have invested in something like Sales Navigator, the return on investment on a product like Sales Navigator is about 312%. And some companies have realized this ROI in a matter of 6 months to 9 months. So
It's insane.
there's proof in the pudding uh, based on the companies that we have worked with.
That's great. Actually, when you were actually explaining this, I was also thinking the screen in terms of account intelligence, it also says whether it's there in CRM or not, whether the lead is actually in the CRM. Second, also why this account and this person, they have commented on a competitor's post. They have also done few other activities. All this is basically LinkedIn intelligence, which comes out of the box. and and this is something which is private only within the LinkedIn platform, because LinkedIn is basically bringing the power of 175 million members and also kind of categorizing it and delivering it in a very clean brief way, like this user is the right person for you to get in because they have done this activity, and then lets you actually go after them, and more importantly do a very significant part of their account research automatically so that they can focus on the human to human selling, or in terms of focusing on the trust based connection and focus on their sales to actually convert better. And as you can see, like the ROI is 312%, and if it is 6 to 9 months, it's actually going to be even more better than what is the amount of investment which they are actually getting. That's very amazing, and we are really looking forward to the GA of this tool as well. So that's it.
Yeah. So are we. We get to use it, but for our customers, definitely.
That's great. The next shift is about why. LinkedIn Sales Navigator plus Factors.ai. What does LinkedIn Sales Navigator, the LSS solution, and Factors.ai bring together, and why this partnership in the first place? We are very excited internally to get into that partnership for multiple reasons, because we have been working for more than 2.5 years, as I mentioned before, with the LinkedIn Marketing Solutions side. We have been a LinkedIn marketing partner. LinkedIn has been great for us both. We are an attribution partner for them. We are also a signals and company intelligence partner. We also build audiences and run LinkedIn ads parallelly. And we also provide reporting and ROI measurement, which is there. So we are completely encompassed on the marketing side. And we also solve for very clear key questions which marketing teams have in terms of like what is the incrementality of a particular channel or a particular activity. If I'm spending on Google and LinkedIn ads together, if I shut down my LinkedIn ads, will my Google search conversions reduce? If I'm spending on my LinkedIn ads and my organic content activity, if I shut down my organic content activity, will my LinkedIn ads suffer? These are the kind of critical questions in marketing allocation in terms of GTM activities, in terms of which accounts they're going after, is something which we solve for as a marketing partner. But this is the marketing side, which, as I mentioned earlier, comes like an air cover. There is also a sales navigator side, which provides the human to human connection, or what we call as a HH connection. LinkedIn provides a very, very clear trust-based human-to-human connection. There is no other professional network where like you can really understand and identify the right person, see what his past history is, what is the context of his career journey, what he's doing in a particular organization, and more importantly, also be very sure that this is the data which is the truth. Which is LinkedIn provides that trust-based data, which is in the first place. And LinkedIn Sales Navigator is the only way where you can connect to that person. You showed very clear sales assistant and also the multiple LinkedIn features. With all this data, you can actually go and connect with that particular person and also have a reason and a context to actually connect to the person. LinkedIn provides a complete sales person's activities to actually connect to the right person. What factors brings in is the other side, where like we bring in complete AI powered account intelligence and the orchestration and measurement. Account intelligence is one, is like with LinkedIn, you can see the company intelligence, lead IQ, and the account IQ to know like what an account is doing, what is a particular person doing on LinkedIn, competitors, etc. What we bring in is the third party data. What is happening on the website? Which pages has the same account actually visited? What is happening in third party intent tools? What's happening in second party intent like G2, Captera, Gartner, etc.? What's happening in the CRM in terms of email connections, email activities, webinar activities, events, etc.? How do you link all these activities to overall account level activity which happens on LinkedIn? That is something which we bring in. Second is the orchestration. Once you have all this data, then you can filter, segment all these accounts. Then one, activate LinkedIn ad campaigns or multi-channel ad campaigns. Second is you can also then build very clear simplified lists for you to activate on LinkedIn. The last part, as I mentioned before, is the measurement and the feedback loop. Any activity is an experiment. You improve only what you measure. If you're not able to measure, you miss out on many things. And that's what Factors.ai brings in. So Factors.ai's account intelligence, orchestration, and measurement with the LinkedIn's sales IQ and AI powered sales human to human connection brings a very, very clear superpower for every GTM team. So every sales leader with Factors.ai plus LinkedIn Sales Navigator will be very confident that the sales teams are going after the right accounts. They're going after the right context. They're going after the right people. And more importantly, he also has a very clear ROI measurement on what's working, what's not working, so that he can continuously improve. He's not like blind about what is working, what's not working. And that is something which LinkedIn and Factors.ai together brings into place. And as part of the partnership, as a LinkedIn Sales Navigator partner, we bring in complete onboarding and support for LinkedIn Sales Navigator customers as well, which onboard to us. Plus, we also provide to them with Factors.ai plans also at a discounted rate so that they can actually use both marketing and sales together and generate success and ROI from their GTM part. And this is the reason why we are very excited to work with LinkedIn. And so we are also extending our partnership from LMS to LSS. And and we have also just recently signed our first customer as well. So we are very excited to be here.
No, thank you. I wouldn't have said it any better. So Shay, we're really, really excited for this partnership. The only thing that I'll add here is that if you think it from a salesperson's point of view, the only thing that a salesperson cares about is what is the right signal that he's getting for him to act upon. If he or she has got the right signal, that's going to be the opportunity for somebody to pick up the phone and speak to somebody, fix up a meeting, do something internally so that you can provide the right documentation. I think collectively between Sales Navigator, what we provide from Sales Solutions, and what Factors does is provides you the right trigger, the right signals at the right time for you to be more efficient in what you're doing. And I think this is a match made in heaven, if I want to call it. And I'm sure every customer that I have spoken to about how sales and marketing can actually come together and use the power of what you're already investing in the marketing campaigns that you're running across uh, the various tools that you have and what you can do with Sales Navigator on the LinkedIn platform. Everybody is interested to have a conversation to know more, and that's the partnership that we're looking for to go deeper in this market. And that's the reason why I am super thrilled that we closed our first order, and that's going to be just the beginning, and we'll definitely have much more.
And we also have some Q&As to cover as well, Abhay. So we're just seeing some question and answers which are coming in. Just it's coming up in my screen and I'll just read it out. So one question which people are asking is, as GTM teams move towards more precision selling, how do you see the LinkedIn Sales Navigator Factors.ai partnership evolve to help sellers identify the right accounts at the right moment? I will pick this up. This is something which has come. So one thing which Factors.ai can very clearly do is like identify which companies are engaging on the website. And we also have third-party signals and CRM data to identify whether it's the right account, whether it's the right ICP account. And with our predictive scoring, we can see like whether this is the one which is likely to submit a form or become a lead or a customer in a sense. So that way, one on the website and third-party signals side, we cover that part. Once you know the account very clearly, the LinkedIn Sales Navigator with the sales assistant will help you find the right people within that account, right context about that account, and also the 11 plus buyer personas for you to go and target so that you can actually get the meeting with the right people and you can also move through the deal through the funnel. So that's how we see both Factors.ai and LinkedIn coming together. Abhay, over to you if you have your perspective.
Yeah, I think precision and prioritization is the name of the game. You have to do 10 things every hour as part of your role. How do you prioritize based on what you're seeing out there happening and playing out in your territory is going to be the only differentiator between what a top seller does and takes that intelligence to do a couple of other things after that, right? In terms of engaging the customers. So I think this partnership therefore makes perfect sense because both the solutions that we talked about, whether it is Factors.ai solution or the Sales Navigator solution, helps the seller and the marketer to focus on prioritization and giving them a lot of data points for them to act upon so they're sounding more intelligent and much more prepared in front of their customers, which is what the customers look for.
Well, it's a very important point. It's like I want to make sure I sound intelligent and I have all the context and I'm shown that I'm prepared. That's something which a salesperson takes a lot of pride in, and it's something which he cares about. He doesn't want to walk into a meeting and sound like an idiot, and that is something which LinkedIn Sales Navigator really takes care of, and how you put it is also very good. Yeah. Next question, which is what other GTM actions does Factors do apart from website identification? I think I'll take this question directly for us. One is account identification on website. That's something which Factors does. We are one of the best in the market here because we have multiple data providers solving for this. Why it is important is any B2B company, nobody randomly visits your website. It's not like a Mindthrow or a Cricinfo or a Twitter where people just coming for just general browsing, etc. Anyone who comes into a website of a particular SaaS company or a technology solutions provider or a textile manufacturing company is someone who's actually interested in what the company does. He's gone through either a ChatGPT search or a Gemini search or a Perplexity search, looked at multiple articles and has landed up into your website with a purpose. People don't come and check out SaaS company blogs just for the reason of like just trying to be aware of them. They're doing it because they want to either buy the solution or they are considering similar solution or they have a problem which they want to solve. Identifying who's coming to the website is very important, and that's something which Factors solves for. But on top of this, what also why this becomes important is for every 100 visitors, barely 3 people sign up. Knowing who are the other 97 visitors who are there, where they are coming from, which city they are coming from, what they are doing on your page. Are they looking at your pricing page? Are they looking at your carriers page? Are the company looking at your blogs? Have they come multiple times, or is this the first time they're coming? Brings in a lot of intelligence for a salesperson to actually understand the context of that entry. In a sense, like you're seeing the breadcrumbs into like what they are doing at different points in time, and that's something which Factors does automatically. Third, we have a feature called interest groups where we map the website and automatically say which feature they are interested in. For any SaaS solution or IT services major, they'll have like 5 solutions which they offer or 5 industry verticals they offer to. We have the interest groups to map like which account is interested in what. So in a sense, like we automatically see the buyer journey and the website map to then give a context like this company coming in here is actually interested in your healthcare solutions, and they have also been looking at your pricing page. So hence, this is the context of their interaction. This company is interested in this particular product of yours and not the other products. So this is what the sales team needs to focus on. Then comes the third additional signals which is there. As a company intelligence partner and LinkedIn marketing solutions partner, we can also give intelligence on like whether they have already seen a LinkedIn ad. Second, whether they have engaged with your company page. Third, whether they have seen any of your in-mails. All of that data also comes into us. So in a sense, this also gives like whether there has been any connection or any brand awareness happened in the past. Solution aware and being kind of like asking for a solution is one part, but being brand aware is a totally different thing. Do they know the Factors brand in the first place? Do they know the particular company brand in the first place? Is something which we also do. Third is like we also integrate with your CRM to know whether this account has already had any history with you. Is it a closed lost account? Is it a churned account? Is it someone like is it an existing customer? All this means different things for a different seller. For example, it's a closed lost account. He can then tie it back to the previous account executive who worked on that account so that they can actually go and reach back, because earlier they may not have had the need, now they may have a need. If it's a churned account, you can then tie it back to the previous customer success person and then get context and then do another pitch saying that, okay, you had churned with us for a different reason, now you can come back. If it is an existing customer, it can be an upsell opportunity or it can be a churn prevention opportunity. All this becomes different context, and that's something which Factors.ai brings out of the box. Plus, we also connect with tools like G2, Gartner, and third-party intent tools to actually see like what else they are searching generally. Have they been searching for this kind of a solution multiple months into advance, or are they just recently getting into this thing? What are they? Who are the other competitors they are evaluating? Who are the other kind of categories they are talking about, or what are the specific use cases within this category they are talking about? All this data also comes to Factors.ai, and we bring in all this data to build the context. That's what you get in addition to just plain website identification.
No, I completely agree. You can't take away the fact that while salespeople will go and attack an opportunity that is right in front of them, there's a whole bunch of things that happen to nurture opportunities and bring them to a level where somebody can actually write a check for you. So, the best sellers also not just have a focus on what's closing in the quarter and the next quarter, but also think long term. And I think working along with your marketing partners and uh, other people in the ecosystem that help you nurture accounts is part of the job.
That's true. Any other questions? I'll just check if there's listen. Okay, yeah, that's most of the questions. That's done. That's the first webinar series of 3 more to come. And it's been a great talking to you, Abhay. And hopefully one day I'll meet you in Delhi, learn more about your dogs, and also share my own dog stories as well. And hopefully this partnership, though it started with the first customer now, I think we can see more hundreds of customers coming in. And thanks a lot for this time here today also, because I learned a lot more about Sales Navigator, including what we can actually even take to our own existing customer. We work with 1,000+ GTM teams. Many of them haven't seen these new aspects about Sales Navigator and how they can use Sales Navigator better. And in a sense, they have also been spending thousands of dollars on multiple other tools, or using a series of tools to bring together all these data points, because they consciously know that these data points are very important for them, but they never had a very clean access to actually get this data points. Now I think all this will be available through Sales Navigator, and we are really excited to present this to all our customers.
It is, and that's the reason why the next 3 series that we're going to be doing will showcase some of these functionalities and features to all the customers that will be seeing this podcast and this webinar. But thank you so much, Sri, for having us over.
Thank you, Abhay, and thank you, Factors team and Mansi and Rahul for setting this up.